Welcome to Summit 2019 and Day 2. Please join us in welcoming to the stage TEA International Board President Michael Mercadante and Chief Operating Officer Jenny Nevin.
Thank you, and welcome back from such a fabulous lunch, and wow, are we grateful for this amazing weather and to be here today at Disneyland with all of you. It's been such an amazing Summit Case Studies Day so far, and we've been so inspired by the creativity and the presentations that we've been able to enjoy.
Are we clicking or they are?
Okay. My first order of business is to officially thank our presenting sponsor, the Hedema Group, and also our TEA Global Partners, Walt Disney Imagineering, Universal Creative, Christie, Chimelong, and Wanda.
This is an exciting time for our association. We've exceeded in every way in the last few years, from the size of our membership to the number of events that we produce and the amount of people at those events, from the outreach of our Next Gen initiative to the amount of interest our members show in serving TEA. This success has put us in a position where we can truly think about the future.
TEA was founded in 1991 and today represents over 1,747 members and 16,000 individuals in over 52 countries. Woohoo! TEA hosts over 100 events a year worldwide. We have international conferences, backstage tours, and events each year.
And as most of you know, we have divisions in North America, Eastern Division, North America, Western Division, Asia Pacific, and Europe and the Middle East. Our members bring the experience of engaging storytelling and entertainment to a vast number of casinos, restaurants, retail stores, museums, zoos, theme parks, and an ever-growing list of destinations that aim to bring a higher level of visitor experience worldwide.
And we have really exciting news to share with you today. We have a brand new TEA Events app. So please add it onto your phones and start connecting with members and attendees today.
And I'd also like to share with you news about our 3 SATE conferences worldwide. Coming in May, SATE Europe at Parc Asterix, followed by SATE Asia in Shanghai in June, and our SATE conference in Seattle in late September.
Our weekend of events includes our TEA Summit that you're here today, and our Thea Awards Gala, which celebrates excellence. We are here with all of you, recipients and attendees, who are the best and brightest in our industry. Thank you so much for joining us.
There's never been a better time to be part of TEA. Now, please join me in welcoming Brian Morrow back to the stage. He'll be taking us on a journey of the Attractions AOA recipients. Thanks so much.
We're moving slow, chocolate bananas, albatross, Disney. All right. If I look poofy, it's because I am. I had a banana. Okay, so welcome to post-lunch session, everyone. We'll try to keep it as lively as possible. And on stage, we want to welcome a few of our AOA recipients for attractions. So up first, we have, they're backwards. No, they're not. They're right. I'm wrong. Sorry. We have Bonnier Cornet, the founder and CEO of Ultraface, and we have director of Legends, Pavel Cebulia, and they're from the AOA award recipient for limited budget attraction for their work on the dark ride Bazyliszek, Park Legends. All right, and next to them we have the incredible team from Justice League. So we have Rich Hill from Sally Corporation, the creative director there, and we have Les as well. Oh, there we go. Les Hudson as well from Six Flags, the vice president of design for the Six Flags Corporation. And they're winning their award for outstanding achievement for their attraction, Justice League Battle for Metropolis at Six Flags Magic Mountain. All right, so we're going to keep the pattern the same as we did before lunch. Up first are going to be the snake ride people, Bazyliszek. They're going to tell us all about their attraction that won for a limited budget attraction this year, outstanding achievement. So gentlemen, the floor is all yours. This is yours.
The stage is yours. You can start.
Hello. For first, I would like to introduce the name of our attractions in Polish meaning, because I received information that it's a concert how to spell or sell or how to say this name. In English, this is Bazyliszek, but in Polish meaning that's Bazyliszek. I know that is very heavy words, but today it's will be heavy words in our presentation, and for first we would like to introduce the ride.
Przygotuj się na misję łowcy potworów. Pomóż mi, celuj i strzelaj. O nie, nie patrz mi w oczy. Jest! Zrobiłeś to! Zamieniłeś bazyliszka w kamień! Jesteśmy ogromnie wdzięczni za twoją pomoc!
Okay, some bullet points what we would like to present today. For first, Legendia Śląskie Wesołe Miasteczko, who we are, what the reason to build this kind of ride, how we made Bazyliszek, Legendia's point of view, and creative process behind the ride, producer's point of view. Legendia is the theme park, regional theme park in Poland. It's the small country in Europe. You know, only 40 million people live there. It's not too big, and we are celebrating this year 60 year, and we can say. We can say that we are one of the oldest park in Europe, but definitely the oldest park in Poland and first. This is a very old picture. On this picture you can see this tower. This is the first amusement ride in Poland, built by Polish constructors, and is still operated in our park, and is 1 year oldest than park. We are situated near to between two cities in Silesia region in Poland, Katowice and Chorzów. In this agglomeration of metropolia, we can say, lived 2.5 million people, and our park is part of big park, Silesian Park, 620 hectares park in center of biggest agglomeration, and is something like Central Park, but bigger. And what we can say about the Legendia? Legendia is the park where people visited or met on start to 1959. Is built and created by Polish constructors, and on the pictures you can see very old gate to the main gate to the park, and some rides which are not existent in this moment. In 2015, our park take to management, and we found the investor from Slovakia, Tatry Mountains Resorts Group, and to start changing this post-communism fanfare. First theme park in Poland. We invested over $52 million to change the park from fanfare to theme park. We did everything. For example, we spent over $1.5 million to greening areas, built new space and places to rest for our guests. In 2017, we built first thrill coaster in Poland, Lech coaster. It's meaning about our one of myths and story about begins Polish country. And 2018, we opened the Bazyliszek, the first kind of attraction in, you can say, in the world. And this is some new pictures, how we changed the park and how it looks today. It's colorful and with a lot of attractions directly to families. We prepare our product for whole family. We don't want to split them, and we would like to build or give the time to spend in our park. Okay. Why Bazyliszek? We are situated in big agglomeration with a lot of family. We need all year attraction. We are theme park for whole families. We need indoor attraction. And Bazyliszek is one of the famous legend in Poland. We wanted to have brand new attraction. And this was the reason why we choose to build interactive dark ride. And how we made Bazyliszek is cooperated 4 companies, Legendia, Alterfest, Joravision, and ETF, and all this company put input to this ride. It's not, we can say, it's only one company idea and was built, and the same, we don't ordered mine contractor bring us attraction and give us key to operate. We cooperate and build very nice attraction for very limited budget. And this is the key words what was in this process of production on the words what was very important for us. That's together, cooperation, fun, trust, details, talk, innovation, understanding, and passion. And these words are very close to our the companies which work with us to make this attraction. And without these words, the attraction definitely not be today in our park.
Thank you. Okay, I have a pretty difficult job today because actually I'm going to tell you something you already know. It's, look at yourself. I mean, I don't know, 600, 700 professionals from the team industry. And we are a company which was initially specialized in doing technology and interactive technology. And this is the first project we took as a turnkey project together with our friends from Joravision and ETF, sorry. So it's a little bit like being a student and trying to teach the masters. And so for this presentation, I tried to play a very cheap trick, which is one of the cooking. Cooking, everybody can cook, the chef, the locals, and then if you go to the Gordon Ramsay type of a broadcast, he's going to interview the street food companies or the people, and he's learning the stuff. So we do a bit the same, but the other way around, and we're going to try some of the tips that we all collectively have used to create this new ride. So to start, we chose a popular menu. Like Pavel would say, every Polish boy knows this story about the Bazyliszek. Bazyliszek is a snake with a chicken head. So basically, that's a nice bedtime story. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm... So we were given that. Okay, the beauty of that, it's an IP that exists already that everybody knows. So it's the best IP you can imagine. And if you want to have some sort of feeling of déjà vu, this is exactly what you get when you do this. Then we had to integrate this ride into the park because we wanted really to build on the dynamic of the park. And in the park, you had already some characters. So like this young lady there that was actually associated to the roller coaster. So what the team did is to take this person to, can apply some cosmetic surgery, and then to make it compatible for the ride that we're going to do so that she can actually integrate and start, let's say, the process of getting people acquainted to the new character. Then the next element was to create some sidekicks. So we're talking about a snake with a chicken head, I just said it. We're talking about a young person, but I mean, what could people do interactively with those two characters? It's a little bit, it's a little bit short. And also this chicken head snake is actually turning all the enemy into stone. So basically, people would need to transform people from stone back to reality. And, one of the learning we've got is that people hate doing positive stuff. They want to destroy. They don't want really to actually fix stuff. I mean, ask your kid, clean your room or, put the mess in your room. You will see which one he prefers. So therefore, we created some sort of bizarre character, which are actually vegetables, some sort of fruit, some plants, which we invented a little add-on to the legend that actually would be reversed, so that would simply turn evil by this famous Bazyliszek. Now, to make it a little bit more credible, our friends from Juravision went to, flea markets, and they really assembled a lot of nice artifacts. And actually, this is a queue line, and it looks very real. So, I mean, the story is totally crazy, but it looks real also because we make it look real. And at the end of the day, we have
Witajcie, łowcy.
this
Dziś otrzymaliśmy
mission.
rozpaczliwy list z wioski. Wygląda na to, że ten okropny bazyliszek znów się tam pojawił i terroryzuje mieszkańców. Zamienia wieśniaków w kamień, a roślinność w małe mięsożerne potwory.
Okay, you all got that. I think it's no need to tell you more about the story.
Witajcie, łowcy. Dziś otrzymaliśmy
Yeah, we can repeat, but I don't think it will help. So we try. When you have a menu, you need to make a welcoming table. So I mean, a welcoming table is first. Well, we start this. So basically, we wanted to build on the first impression. So just look at the dispatch center. Usually dispatch would be linear, would be something like you are stepping inside the vehicle from the side. Here, with our friends from ETF, we made something that looks much better, I mean, with this kind of double dispatch, and it gives some idea of, some sort of choreography. If you want. Okay. Here we go. We also made the vehicle look good. So basically, in a ride on a budget, and when I tell you on a budget, it's really on a budget. We really didn't save the money on what counts. And actually, the vehicles were really one of the most important elements because people would actually see them. And you can see it from the dispatch. We are playing the vehicles. It's part of the wow impression that people get. I mean, we are not fooling them. It's not like a cheap stuff. No, it's really the best we could find. And it looks good when people enter that says, wow, that's nice. Also, to make sure that we are building on this impression, we have actually built the first scene in a special way, is that the dispatch room is actually very low ceiling, and then when you enter the first scene, you get into a very high and big space, so that actually, again, people get a very nice wow effect when they enter it. You can see it here. I mean, this is during the press presentation, you see you're in some sort of a tunnel, and then you will get through this little gate, and it's much bigger space. And that's really creates a lot of, you can see the eyes of the people says, wow, there's something they didn't expect. Now, we also added some chef specials. And one was the integration of media with the teaming. This is something we like very much at Ultraface, and we work a lot with our friends from Sally and from a lot of people to do this. Basically, we couldn't, 2D was off the table, totally off the table because of the demographics, because of the budget, because of many different stuff. 2D was out of question, but we wanted a sense of depth. And so we did, well, together with Jora, they did actually a nice teaming exercise, put in front of a screen, and then using a bit of black light, using a little of back projection, you get into a nice combination, and it doesn't really look cheap. It looks really rich. And we add a little plus, is that we have what I think it's universal they would call squinching. I mean, we call it perspective shift, which is actually when you're moving, actually the screen is moving with you, so that it looks like you have this famous depth, this window into the scene. This takes a bit of time on site, but I mean, it pays out, I think, very nicely. Then we didn't invent everything. We revisit some good old traditional specialties, black light together with projection mapping to replace some targets, so that it looks again a bit richer and a bit more also. There is more depth. There is more. It looks more luxurious. Then we will shake up some traditions as well. Usually a dark ride, this is something stupid or bizarre, let's put it this way, is that when you're fighting against someone, you tend to move towards those people in dark ride. Whereas the logical solution would be that you retreat. And so we don't do that because it's complicated in terms of managing the content and really the sequence and to reload the loop. So basically we did this fog element, or you can see here. So basically, you can see the guy. He will see the character coming out of the fog, and then he will shoot at it. And then, after this is done, he will actually escape, and then the screen will turn again to the stage, the dormant stage, basically, that you have again some fog there. So basically, it's a nice way to avoid having cuts when people are in front of the screen. Okay, then the last element is to keep people hungry until the end. You don't need to feed them too much at the beginning. So it's another philosophy we try to apply here. Each scene is getting a level of intensity, and we are actually, a dark ride may be flat, but we try to make it an emotional roller coaster. And so basically you can see the intensity moves, it starts, it goes up. There is a little dip in there so that people can catch their breath again, and then you go for the big finishing. And the big finishing, that's again where we put the budget. You can see here. We did elevated screen so that people could have a very good vision. We really, made it very rich in terms of theming. You can let's say, spend less money in the middle of the ride, but I mean, this last scene is really the important one. And you can see that it's really a lot of stuff. I mean, there is one guy, because it was during the testing, I mean, the ride is very popular, don't you worry. So it looks like a bit, a story of a success, So that's, we need to play a bit with the movement of the vehicle. This is something that is interesting to do so that people can see what we want them to see, and you can therefore make a long scene while you're having multiple vehicles into the same place. And then the last element is celebrate. It's very important when you do interactivity. You need really, I mean, the player are actually playing your game in the sense that you can spend less money in the teaming, and a lot of stuff you can save on, because actually the player will do their part of the ride. So actually they're part of the investment you're making. But I mean, you need to reward them a little bit. And we played it also by making sure that they have, like we give them their score. during the ride, they can measure themselves, and they're really getting out of this ride with a lot of, of pleasure. Now, just to finish, I didn't follow actually the rules that were, what was asked to us to be, with 4 different levels, but that's my generation. I don't know which one it is. So we'll get to the lessons learned. So maybe Pavel, you have some of the stuff.
I think it is cost efficient to work with a team that know each other, and the myths and traditional are some things, the strongest IP you may find sometimes.
And for us, I would say that the big learning of that is when you are convinced that the scene will work out, that will be great, well, you better rethink it, because sometimes on paper, it looks brilliant. We have in the middle of the ride, there is a scene with, the Bazyliszek, which is appearing there, and we say, it will work perfect. And actually, when you go there, you simply have a little element like this. And it's, a bit like those movies that are supposed to be horror movies, but actually everybody's laughing, and that's a bit the little story we get there. But it's always nice to have nice elements to joke about when we are meeting our friends from Legendia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right.
Right. Yeah, my pleasure. Good luck.
It's like a reunion up here. Okay. Hey, so we have Les and Rich are going to come up next. Les, come on up, and I'm going to give you this battle for...
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Justice League Battle for Metropolis.
That's right.
I'll go down here.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Really, thank you so much for inviting us here to talk about Justice League Battle for Metropolis. Battle for Metropolis is 7 rides. Even though we're here to talk about Magic Mountain, we've actually built 7 of these attractions for Six Flags. We started with Dallas, then we went to St. Louis, then we did Chicago, Mexico was next.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, Atlanta, and then finally finishing up here in California at Magic Mountain. And so it was really just an exciting project over the course of, I guess, about, 4 years? And, we're here to tell you all about it.
Very good. I'd like to thank everybody who was associated with the project. There were so many, and you'll see them on the list, but even people that just had a small part. Thank the association for this award.
Hold on one sec. Oh, this is not us.
It's beautiful.
Congratulations on your new... the new Nemo ride. That was fantastic. We had a great time not doing that, but...
No, but while they're queuing that up, this is a pretty humbling, tremendous award for a company that's known for designing world record roller coasters. And so we appreciate that. And then before we kick it off, just as a show of hands, who's had the chance to ride Justice League? Oh, there's a few. Not only at Magic Mountain, but any of the other ones across the country. So, well, great. We thank you for that.
That's great. Okay, so we're going to start this out with a little video. And we'd like to, so it's kind of a bunch of testimonials, really. But we're going to start this out with Bonnie Sherman Weber, who was the president of Magic Mountain at the time, and since has stepped into a corporate role. But just enjoy this. It kind of talks about a little bit of the process and some of the reactions in the industry.
It's by far the most immersive, interactive, multifaceted attraction Six Flags has ever built. Truly pushing the envelope of dark ride experiences and really ready to take Southern California by storm. Yes, it's sure to shatter all expectations.
Six Flags is one of our longtime customers. We knew that they were interested in doing a Justice League dark ride. It just had to be a dynamic experience.
We took the extra step by sitting back down with the Sally group to basically say, we're in Southern California, how do we step it up? How are we going to make it different? How are we going to compete in such a competitive playing field?
We've incorporated a lot of new technology. Just having an interactive ride that's on a roving motion base is very unique to the industry. We incorporate things like inverted loop, corkscrew that you go through, stuff that's very Six Flags.
Turtle screens, and we have explosive, and we have animatronics, but we also have like augmented reality. We're introducing Harley Quinn, just an amazing new attraction.
Cyborg and Joker were very special to us, since we had never seen these guys realized as animatronic figures before. It was a real challenge to bring them to life, to sculpt them, to make them chrome, to make sure that Joker's costume was the right shade of purple, and all those little details that are important to an IP character.
How Six Flags did that, it was very smart. By going through the development with Sally, once you do the R&D and you get that attraction up and running, there's lessons learned on any new attraction you open up. And so then to take it from market to market was very smart because they had a very popular attraction.
This was not a ride that was designed with a footprint, with a building and everything that was always the same. So each ride had to be rethought as to the path and the track, and even ceiling heights were different. Even if the storyline was similar, every single set and every single scene had to be designed separately. So it's just kind of a gradual raising of the bar of all aspects.
It's got a great story, it's got great ambiance, it's something that you can go to, and there's enough levels of effects and show in it that you always see things new, you see them in a different way. There's enough richness to it, it always makes it fun to go through.
You've seen the reports and the postings of people that go through this, and they perceive these experiences as being at that level, and that's pretty remarkable.
It's amazing how they just made from the shaking of the cart to make it feel so realistic, as if you're actually flying 100 miles an hour.
The Joker blasts you and it goes in your face, and like, oh my gosh, it was fun.
You get to hit all the bad people, and you're like a superhero.
That's sweet.
Really sweet. Yeah, it's those last three testimonials that's really the reason you do all of the work. So.
Yeah, and what was I thinking with that shirt, right? So the story begins down under. So really this whole process started with an attraction that we built down in Australia at Warner Brothers Movie World in Gold Coast, Australia. It was an attraction where we worked with, again, Warner Brothers, DC Comics, the Warner Brothers team. They allowed us to create a new story that was based on an old villain. Starro the Conqueror was actually the first antagonist in the DC Comics universe to battle the Justice League about 75 years ago, I guess. Well, yeah, something like that now. And basically, the character came to Earth, put these Starro spores on the humans' faces, and they're kind of like starfish, and they would link you telepathically to Starro the Conqueror, where he could conquer worlds in this way. And so we were brought in on a mission to free all of the humans from these Starro spores and save Gotham and Metropolis and Central City, and thereby the world. So we started with that. That was a pretty well-received ride, and we always knew that Six Flags was our next target because we understood that they had the Warner Brothers and DC Comics licenses, and they were, ripe for a new dark ride. We had done dark rides for them in the past, but we knew that a new dark ride would be on the horizon. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, in 2012, along the same time they were wrapping up the Australia ride. Of course, we're in conversations with them, we're talking about it. And at Six Flags, we put together an innovation project committee to really study about what kind of dark ride would be a dark ride for Six Flags. And then we did some research to really find out that our guests would like a ride like that. So that proved to us that we should explore that. We didn't have 10 commandments, but we did have 3 simple goals for a ride to be Six Flags. It had to be thrilling. That didn't just mean a dynamic ride system that moved quickly, but also a story and a pace with adventure. Number 2, what was number 2? Number 2, it had to be repeatable. Mm-hmm. So, we have a lot of guests, season pass holders, memberships. These guests, it's a regional park. They come several times a year, every year. So we needed a ride that they could do and want to do again. And so the interactive gameplay was something that we felt like would solve that problem, and it has. And then the last thing is we wanted to have a broad demographic. We were known for thrills, but we want to be known for thrills for all ages. And so we had a 42-inch rider height that will allow like a 4-year-old to ride, and not just ride, but we wanted to make sure the story and the experience was one that they would enjoy. It wasn't too scary, but one they would enjoy. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we needed those jaded teenagers to enjoy that ride as well and not come off of it and say that's too family or whatever.
That's right. Yep. And joining forces, I mean, it was really great for us to combine our teams. That's kind of what we do best at Sally is joining with a park, joining with their creative team, linking up and just becoming one and trying to craft this thing and turn it into something that is usable for the park, is possible due to budget, and I think we did a great job. So the next thing that we did was assembling the team. Sally is a small shop. We're basically 45 people. We're all very talented. We've done a lot of dark rides in the past, but we need the help of other creative groups to make it all happen. So we enlisted the help of Wyatt Design Group, who helped us with the concept renderings and did all of the scenic design. They did a fantastic job. Larry and his team were amazing. I've worked with them on other projects, and so they were an easy selection. Pure Imagination, who's done a lot of interactive dark rides in the past. We've worked with them in the past, and so again, they were another easy selection. They built all of the media, 3D. They did the on-site integration between gameplay and interactive with the media. Then we also had Lexington and Forte that were our two scenic providers. Lexington did the first 2 attractions. Forte did the last 5. Those guys were all exceptional builders. They were able to take all of our scenic designs and translate those into fully built out sets. In this attraction, it was very important for us to not have what we all call a show side. A show side limits you. We like to have a lot of creativity on site, being able to program the ride vehicle to move in different directions. Sometimes we plan initially isn't what happens at the end. You have to have that freedom, and to have a show side and a non-show side can sometimes limit you. So these guys really worked with us to completely build out all the sets 360 degrees. Alterface, these guys, we've worked with them a number of times on different projects. They're just the best interactive company we feel like out there. They are, they're team members. They're also partners, and they come up with great ideas. And we love working with you guys. Yep, all the time. So then Oceaneering, it was as Les and his team directed. It had to have thrill. It had to have that Six Flags thrill. And so Oceaneering was integral in that we had to have a motion-based vehicle that could accelerate fast, hit the brakes, stop, spin, all the things that make it thrilling. And so we actually developed what they call the Evo 6, was developed specifically for this attraction, and they've gone on to sell these with other parks, and they're a great vehicle. Real D gave us the 3D equipment. It's a circular polarized system, so very easy on the eyes. Technolux did our lighting, some of the design, and all the installation on site. So great team, superhero team, actually.
So creating the story, Rich and I talked about this, and all great stories for a dark ride like this should be maybe just said in 2 sentences.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so let's do it. So the first sentence, right, is Joker and Lex team up in Metropolis. They use the weaknesses of the superheroes against them to capture them, hold them in LexCorp, and then.
So now, Stu, your mission is, as a junior Justice League member, is to go out on the streets of Metropolis, help the remaining 2 free superheroes locate LexCorp, free the superheroes, and ultimately capture the Joker and Lex Luthor.
Yep, and that's it.
Mission accomplished.
So creating the story was a lot of fun. We really we worked directly with Warner Brothers DC Comics. We worked on a number of different types of stories and went through a few different iterations. We'll look at these next. We came together on basically Les's first directive was we need the guests to be the superheroes. We don't want this to be a passive thing where we're watching the superheroes battle in front of us and it's just boom bap. We don't know what's going on the scene. We want you guys to be a part of it. So that's what we did. We created a story that by capturing those Justice League superheroes, it took them off the table and allowed us to be the ones that had to go save them for once. And if you notice, so it's Batman and Cyborg that are left over. And I was just thinking about this the other day. It's really neat because they were the two humans. They're the only superheroes that actually their origin story is human.
Yep.
And so it took all of the aliens off the table, if you will. Put them behind bars, and now we've got to go free them. So that was creating the story. It was pretty fun. What
was one thing we were not going to put in this story?
Oh, yeah. So Les, when we first get to we say, we just did this great alien invasion dark ride, and he goes, we're not doing those stupid starfish. We're like, okay, yeah, we get it.
No, we were very fortunate. Obviously, with Sally coming off of the Australia project, they established a great relationship working with Warner Brothers DC Comics. And we have a long-time relationship with them. We tried to count the other day, but we've done somewhere close to 200 rides with either Looney Tunes theming or DC Comics theming. So what we really want to do is get together and try to figure out, they may have used Starro because of some of the shooting and targeting, but we wanted to figure out a better way to bring higher profile characters. And villains in this world are as popular as some of the superheroes. So bringing the Joker and Lex Luthor in and working with them to come up with a good story and have good targets was a key driver of where we went.
Really was. It also, going big, we wanted to, use the Six Flags DNA, which was, the virtual vertical loop, which we can show that. So Green Lantern used the construct from his ring to make a virtual loop to take you over a broken piece of construction equipment. We had interactive projection mapping on a moving set, which was really unique in that in the original iterations of this ride, we had, you've all seen the truck that comes out and the horn blasts and the lights go on and it scares you. It's a great scare gag. But in this ride, we used projection mapping on it. And so we had the characters you could kind of see here. We had the henchman driving the van here. You're actually able to blow out the front windshield, blow out the lights, hit the front of the vehicle and see smoke come out. It was really fun. It just added another level to the Magic Mountain.
And if one roller coaster element wasn't enough, we added a second one in the subway tunnel, where you have a corkscrew barrel roll.
Yep.
That is very effective. Again, just adds to the thrill.
Yeah, and motion matching to this media with those vehicles was the key. It really felt like you were in there. Let's go to the next one here. Yes, sir. Here we go. So again, we introduced 180-degree interactive toroidal screens, which put you in the moment. This is our big finale, where we wrap you up and we allow you to pass through the plane of the screen. It was very important for us to have, big wraparound screens for that. Interactive 3D targets on a fog screen. We had done interactive targets on a fog screen before, but never in 3D. So this is very important. Unreal 4 game engine. Traditionally we'd done some pre-rendered interactive gaming. This is all real-time gaming that we brought in.
Yep.
We also got here. Jump ahead. Here we go. So the characters.
Yeah. So again, for Magic Mountain, we really wanted to dial it up. It's a more competitive market. We were lucky because in 2016 with the Suicide Squad movie, Harley Quinn was going to become very popular, so we knew that kind of ahead of time and developed that character into the story, not only in the screen media, but also as an animatronic.
Yep. So here we'll see some of our art finish department at Sally Corporation building the Joker head, which is pretty cool.
Handsomer than me. By the way, where's Bad Boy? I've really missed his company since I've been away from Gotham. Harley was just asking about him too. She's called dibs on all of his doohickeys and thingamajiggies when we finally catch him. I can't wait for you to see my brand new laughing gas factory. Oh, it'll make you LOL until you DROP. The laughing gas itself is just divine. Easy and enjoy the ride.
That's great. Isn't that fun?
So we're going to pick it up a little bit here because we're running out of time, but obviously you can understand in a project like this, lots of trips to Jacksonville, to Orlando, out to LA.
That's right. Lots of trying to develop new characters like these Lex bots. You know, it was very important for us to have targets that were repeatable inside the ride. So we built some new characters for DC, and these were Lex bots. They're really, really cool. So puzzles and bonus targets. There are puzzles and bonus targets all through this ride. You know, there's, if you see here, we can watch this video.
Hey guys, good to see
So if you follow the red box and you blast the red box, it fills in all of the boxes behind it. And as you fill them in, if you can get all of them filled in by the time the scene ends, then it changes and gives you bonus targets for the rest of the ride. So there are one of these puzzles in every single one of the scenes, and if you can find them, you're going to score a lot.
Just real quickly, there's some game education. You know, in the queue line, if you can educate them and tell them what their mission is, what they're supposed to shoot at, it makes for a more rewarding experience when they're on the ride.
Cool. And after we jump to our last little bit, yeah. Here we go.
I think you're going to have a great time. But without further ado, let's open Justice League Battle for Metropolis. Let's go.
It was awesome.
Totally cool. Everyone needs to do it. Justice League rules.
Well, we got the subway. It was pretty good. And right before the subway, it felt like I was just in there. Awesome. It was well worth it. Well worth the wait.
Awesome. It was the best ride ever. It was awesome. Oh my God.
Loved it. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
The part in the Joker room with the Joker animatronic and the fire effects, it's just, yeah, awesome. Sensory overload.
Best dark ride ever.
That's what it's all about. Thank you.
I'll take this.
I'm dangerous with that thing.
All right, so thank you, and you know, you kind of look at some common themes between these two different organizations and two different scales of our industry, with very similar goals and expectations and hopes and programmatic expectations, and they've accomplished it in an award-winning style, both in their own way, in the smallest and restricted of budgets, in this very romantic community theme park in Poland, to how many were there? 24 of these you built?
Yeah.
Something like that? 7, yeah. Yeah, so duplicating it again and again and making it perfect and better each time, and thinking about your target audience and repeating your design process to improve it each time as well. Showing that even after the third time you build an attraction, it can get better, up to the very end of number 7 in California. So we're going to do some questions now for the team. So we'll bring the lights up. All right. There we go. Do we have any initial questions for these guys? I'm looking. I'm going to ask some if you don't. All right.
Okay. See ya.
Our time is done.
So we're gonna start with the Poland team. So tell us a little bit about how does a park that went from it opened in what year did it open? 56?
1959.
Yeah, 1959. How did you decide to make the jump as an organization from your local regional community park to now world-class attractions. At what point did that happen in your business model that was the direction you wanted to move your business into?
How to say, in our park, Silesian Amusement Park, before we put the name Legendia, was international park, but in the not Eastern, but not in Eastern Europe. That means we have a lot of visitors from other countries, and after 2007, the park was in 100% managed by the government, and this was not good way for them. And in 2015, when we decided to find investor for change the park, we said we need to build something new, something better than was, and use the best technology what we can find in our budget in the world. And this was the reason to build brand new rides. We cooperated with great companies and great people.
That's great. And a true diligence to paying attention to what mattered, which was high quality and budget for you guys, right? There was no room for over, right, at that point for the project. So that's congratulations on that. And Les, I've got a question for you, and maybe Rich as well, as park operators and park owners and then world-class attraction builders, how do you, after 6 of them, say we're going to go again? It's great to build it. You get to expose it to more of your guests in the regional theme park model. But how did you maintain the energy within the teams? I've heard teams say once is great, twice is okay, third's a bit of a drag. How do you handle it all the way to number 7?
I think if you build something and it works in other places, obviously you want to keep building. And we do that with a lot of different types of rides. But I would say, with Magic, it was easy to get excited because we were adding so much additional characters, effects, more in the queue line. And it was, it was a little bit of a challenge to see if we could actually play in this market. So it's when you have so many parks, we're used to kind of having an incubator, looking at attractions that will work in one place and hopefully be able to roll those out at others.
That's fantastic. And Rich, your team?
From the production side, I mean, we, you got to think we did 7 in 3 years. So, usually, I mean, it could take 3 years to do one dark ride. So this was, it didn't seem like a stretch for us. We didn't get bored. And because we were always innovating, always trying to come up with the next thing, like we throw at this one, okay, next year we're going to do that thing that we were thinking about this year. So it kept it exciting. And, and we love building dark rides, so. And
then my last question before we go to the floor, Benoit, you were the bridge between both of these organizations, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've been a very busy individual as well. How did you find the difference between working with Sally on other attractions, including Six Flags, and then for the first time ever, an owner that's never done something like this before? How was that experience for you?
I think it was basically the same in the sense that we are teaming with Sally. We are, like a loyal supplier, and we are really like to have a very positive and constructive relationship and bring new technological ideas. In this case, for practical reasons, we were really the owner of the process, but actually we could actually piggyback on, ETF, piggyback on Joravision, piggyback on a lot of people. So actually, it was kind of the same. I mean, it's just that we took a creative lead, more of a creative lead on Legendia than we did on others, but there's never a moment that we are only doing interactivity, just interactivity. Most of the time we do interactivity plus because our guys simply like to do this and they try to be part of the teams.
Yeah, and I've had the pleasure of working with both those individuals in the middle, and you heard Rich say it as well. You're hearing people crossing over between different teams of the TEA. I love how Rich had team TEA in your or less in your presentation there, and that's a true thing. You're seeing crossovers and experiences cross-pollinate between different owners and operators, and that's the beauty. I mean, we all fail if we start getting angry and pointing fingers at each other and saying it's mine, 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 but the reverse is high success. And you're seeing it right in front of you of doing just that and not being too proud and being a team member. So congrats to all that. Okay, so now somebody, it's the trouble row back there. Is it the trouble row? No, yes, there it is. Oh, there's Unicorn Head. There it is.
Did I just see fear flicker across Rich's face?
Be nice.
It's not a gotcha, I promise. Hi, y'all. Cynthia Sharp, think well. Talk to us as much as you can without giving away the store. You have an awful lot going on in Justice League. Talk to us about your prototyping and playtesting, and also how you designed the ride vehicle for accessibility.
Prototyping. So prototyping, yeah, we use animatics. We build everything out in 3D first. It's just the normal process that you would think. As far as the ride vehicle, that was pretty interesting because we went to Oceaneering, talked with them about the need for a 3DOF continual yaw vehicle that had 6 passengers, which they did not have. I did some quick sketches of the ride vehicle and sent it to them, and they modeled it in 3D. Actually built a pretty rough version when we went out there to Oceaneering, and were able to ride in just a mocked-up cabin. Talked to them about, we really want to be thrown around the corners. We want to be able to stop a little faster. We want to accelerate a little bit quicker. All of these things go into trying to develop a new ride vehicle. And this was a pretty elaborate one. And the whole prototyping, it was very similar to a typical development of any project, but that ride vehicle was very interesting because there was, it was such a new product for them and for the industry.
Good. This side of the room. Anybody? In the back row. So those are your fast feet you're wearing right now. There you go.
Joe again. Quick question for the Bazyliszek team. Were there any unique characteristics about the Polish audience that you would say are different from catering to a different audience? Was there any constraints that you had when building your attraction for them?
No, not really. We cannot say, people are pretty, we are working around the world. We have Chinese customers, we have American customers, we're working with about everybody. And there's something that is pretty consistent all over. People like more or less the same stuff. You have very limited differences between one country to another, especially when we are dealing with interactivity. So there was nothing really special on the Legendia. We just make sure that the size of for instance, the size of the devices and this kind of stuff may change, but that's about it. We really didn't feel that it was something special to do. Now, what is important also is that naturally we take into account the cultural differences, because we are working so closely with the client that actually the client is telling us which direction to go in order to talk effectively to the people, to the audience. Sorry.
Great.
For the team that did the Six Flags ride, the Justice League ride, just talking about working with an IP holder and developing these characters that have been represented in so many different kinds of media, and when you're developing those animatronics, how you figure out how they'll be visualized and then vocalized, and where you kind of fell in the spectrum between movies and comic books and all of these cartoons and the other ways they've been represented.
Sure. So we had to define those things pretty early on. Working with DC, when we really started this project, the directive was they wanted to use the New 52, which the New 52 characters had different costumes, a different look, different mannerisms. There was a lot of things going on that we had to align with, but they hadn't even written the first comic book yet. So we're literally getting sketches and stuff from their team saying, we think Superman's going to look like this, we think Cyborg's going to look like this. So we had to develop those characters, with their teams, kind of. Obviously them leading the way, but us following right behind. And it was important for us to have the style of the ride be very realistic. because we are supposed to be a part of this story. So we had to emulate, our look had to emulate their look. And so it was very important for that realism to shine through. As far as the voices, we talked with Mark Hamill to do the Joker. He was doing a little project called Star Wars, so we couldn't really use him. So we used Troy Baker, but Kevin Conroy, Susan Eisenberg, all the traditional voice actors came on board, and we worked with all of them. The mannerisms, we started out by using traditional animation, where we would animate a rigged model for the characters. After the first year, we went back and we actually redid all of the animation using motion capture. On a motion capture stage, we brought in actors and everybody acted out the parts, and we cast for those parts and everything. It was just a great. I even got to be one of the henchmen. Yeah, I got to put on the suit and roll around. It was so fun.
Did you charge the client for that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I charged. Yeah. Get credits. I'm on IMDb now, so. So it was a really great collaboration with DC to define what those characters were and how they acted.
And we have time for one more, so we'll go this direction. Anybody on this side of the room? Right in the middle.
There's one there.
I know. Maybe two. If you answer quick.
Hi, Chris Wessels, Tate. So it's very impressive what you guys pulled off on a limited budget for these kinds of attractions. Certainly the sort of thing that only the high end of the market used to be able to sustain. But in addition to the low budget for the attraction, you have to go turn this over to the park and they have to go continue to maintain it. So I was just wondering if you could talk about the conversations you had with the park about maintaining these attractions going on, especially considering there was a lot of technology that was probably very brand new for the park, and asking the ride maintenance team to now, look after Unreal computers and how that conversation kind of went.
Yeah, I wished I could answer that question. I know, obviously, there's a lot of maintenance, and a lot of the stuff I know can be diagnosed from Sally. So if it's technical type stuff, that I think from a ride maintenance, the ride vehicles and stuff, we have a maintenance bay, and that's probably not any different than our typical roller coasters and stuff to take care of. And I think we struggled a little bit at first, but then as we got more parks on, they're sharing their experience and their knowledge, and we probably added a person or two with that technical skill at each park.
And from a design standpoint, we understood early on, that's part of our design philosophy, is to understand your client and the maintenance needs. So early on, we determined that, this is a new thing for Six Flags, have something with this high level of technology. You guys have shows and you guys do projection and you do VR and you do all this cool stuff, but to have all of these systems put together, this is very new. So we designed in ways for it to be easily maintained, and made sure that all of our maintenance books, we supply the parks with, a maintenance schedule, and everything is defined, very typical. But with this, we even went the extra route of a lot more training on site. We actually had a lot of their employees installing with us and doing the integration of the AV and all of that stuff. So by the time the ride opened, they understood it, as well or better than we did. So.
If I can add, there's been some reluctance to go for media attractions because of the maintenance issue and the projection and everything. Now, to be fair, people usually would say, as of now, it's okay. No, the new technology is okay, but that's not true. The technology was okay already 10 years ago. The fact is that indeed there was some sort of philosophy to be acquired in the park so that they start maintaining the equipment, but it's not anymore an issue. And I would say since 2010, something like that, the technology is reasonably stable. And so basically, I don't think it costs more to maintain a media-based attraction than it costs to maintain a roller coaster or something else.
Good. Well, thank you guys. And if I got a chance to rename the panel, it's like the power project teams, right? You're seeing great minds coming together, executing well, delivering really great attractions in a category that used to only be obtainable by a certain few operators, and now it's a much broader reach, which all benefits nothing but the guests at the end of the day. So congratulations to all our award winners today. And gentlemen, Rich, that way. There you go. Thanks, gentlemen. Good job.
Appreciate it.
And Les, if you get a chance to come this way, they're going to take your photo. You can come across the front. And this is this is where we take a new type of break. So this break is going to include my voice. So you are allowed to stand up and stretch according to Mother Roberta, but you cannot pass out a business card or make any noise while we thank the most important people in the room, our global sponsors of TEA. So feel free to stand up, stretch. This is actually your break time, but I'm going to read through the global sponsors of TEA to thank them, and just hold your applause to the end because there's a bunch of them here. So starting out, we have 7 Sense Design Studio, Adirondack Studios, AES Artistic Entertainment Services, Aquatic Design and Engineering, Chicago Scenic Studios, Cortona Productions, D&B Audio Technique, Disney Parks Live Entertainment, Electrosonic, Falcons Creative, and Forte Specialty Contractors. There's more. HBG Design, the fabulous crew at In Motion Entertainment, JRA, Craftwork, Mousetrap, Oceaneering, Panasonic Japan, the builders at PCL, the creators at Sally Corporation, the designers at Stantec and Thinkwell Group, the creators at Triotech, and Wartsala. Everybody, round of applause. There we go. Welcome, gentlemen.